Tonight's news, a cop killer will spend the rest of his life in prison. Plus, Appaquiddick taxpayers go to the polls today, and we'll say cheers to a Delaware star. Those stories and much more straight ahead on DETV News. Welcome to DETV News. I'm Patty Nash. Lauren and Matt have the night off. Randon Wilkerson was sentenced Friday to a double life sentence plus 212 years in the shooting death of Del Mar police officer Keith Heacock back in 2021. He was found guilty in October on numerous charges, including first-degree murder. Officer Heacock, a 22-year veteran of the Del Mar Police Department, was attacked by Wilkerson when responding to a report of a domestic fight in April 2021. He clung to life for several days before succumbing to his injuries. Wilkerson will be returned to the Sussex Correctional Institute to begin his sentence. Dover police are investigating a carjacking that occurred Saturday evening at Hollywood Diner. A 17-year-old victim from New York said she was sitting in the passenger seat of a running vehicle when a man entered the driver's seat and began to back out of the parking lot. The victim jumped from the moving car in an attempt to escape, causing the vehicle to strike the victim's legs. She was treated for minor injuries at Bay Health Kent campus. The car was found unoccupied at an apartment complex in Dover shortly after the incident. Delaware State Police arrested 3 Delaware teens, ages 13, 14, and 15 years old, for a robbery that occurred earlier this month at the Christiana Mall, the law enforcement agency announced Tuesday. On December 3rd, troopers were notified that a robbery occurred the previous day in the parking lot of Target located at the mall. The teenage victim was at the bus stop around 5 p.m. when he was approached by multiple suspects. 2 of the teens reportedly held his arms, while a third stole his phone. While investigating the crime, mall officials notified police that the teens, who were seen on surveillance video, had returned to the mall. They were taken into custody without incident. Turning to school news, Appaquiddick School District taxpayers are voting today in the first tax referendum since 2019. Polls close at 8 p.m. Delaware's fastest growing school district is asking taxpayers for a combined $93 million that would be split into 3 ballot questions. The first part, for $12 million, is for operational expenses to run the schools and is expected to be used to increase pay for nearly 2,000 staff members and improved security measures. Appaquiddick has the lowest pay scale of the 5 Newcastle County school districts. The other requested funds would pay for the construction of a new middle and high school at the Summit campus and a new elementary school. Delawareans making minimum wage will get a pay increase in the new year. On January 1st, the state's minimum wage will be $13.25 an hour, a 13% increase from the current $11.75 an hour. The increase is part of a plan to raise the minimum wage to $15 an hour by 2025, which the General Assembly approved in June 2021. Since 2014, 28 states and Washington, D.C. have changed their minimum wage laws, according to the Economic Policy Institute. The federal government, however, has not raised the minimum wage since 2009. Federal minimum wage is $7.25 an hour. Employees exempt from the increase include agricultural workers, those who work in private homes, and federal employees. The Delaware State Police Homicide Unit is investigating the shooting death of a Texas man Saturday night in Wilmington. Troopers were called to a tobacco shop on Miller Road shortly after 7 p.m. for a reported shooting, but upon arrival found no evidence of the incident. A short time later, police responded to P.S. DuPont Middle School, where a car had crashed through a fence and stopped on school property. A 22-year-old man was found inside the car with a gunshot wound. He was pronounced dead at the scene. Police believe the man was shot while in his car at the tobacco store parking lot and drove away. The suspect was seen fleeing the area in a dark-colored SUV. It seems many of us want to be home for the holidays. More than 115 million Americans are predicted to travel 50 miles or more between Christmas and New Year's this year, making it the second busiest year since AAA began tracking holiday travel, the organization said Monday. Millions will travel by plane, train, car, bus, and cruise ships, about 2.2% more than last year. The busiest year for travel was pre-pandemic in 2019, said AAA in a Monday release. The majority of Americans will travel by car, an increase over last year by 1.8%, AAA predicts. AAA predicts that 7.5 million will travel by air, more than the previous recorded record set in 2019. Ticket prices are slightly lower than last year, as are gas prices. Nationally, as of Monday, the average price of gas was $3.15 a gallon, a slight dip from last year. AAA predicts that those driving on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, December 31, and New Year's Day will encounter the least amount of traffic. December 23 is predicted to be the heaviest day on the roads. AAA suggests drivers leave for their destinations before 10 a.m. and after 7 p.m. City of Newark residents will see taxes and some fees rise next year. Newark City Council members passed a 7.5% property tax increase last month, the third tax rate increase in 3 straight years. Monday night, the Newark City Council finished their budget process by confirming increases to water and sewer rates as well. All city residents will see a 39-cent customer charge to deal with debt service from the state, while they will also see a 4.2% increase on the amount of water used. The average Newark household will see water bills rising about $18 a year. When all increased fees are added together, including an estimated 4% increase for the power rates that will be determined by the Delaware Municipal Electric Corporation next month, it would be an increase of roughly $137 next year. The city stands to gain $335,000 from the tax bump. Funeral services will be held Saturday at Christ Church in Greenville for Edgar S. Wooler Jr., the former CEO of the DuPont Company who died last week at his home in Florida. He was 89 years old. According to his obituary, Woolard went to work for DuPont at a plant in Kingston, North Carolina, after graduating from then North Carolina State College with a degree in industrial engineering. He worked at the company facilities in North Carolina and Tennessee before moving to corporate headquarters in Wilmington, where he rose through the ranks to become CEO in 1989. He retired in 1995, but became a board member for companies such as Apple, IBM, and Citigroup. A 30-year-old man is in serious condition after an industrial accident Monday evening north of Newcastle. Newcastle paramedics said they found the man trapped inside a hydraulic lift gate at the ARS Truck and Fleet Service on Newcastle Avenue around 7:30 p.m. The man suffered life-threatening crush injuries and was taken aboard a medical helicopter to Christiana Hospital for further treatment. Delaware State Police are investigating the cause of the accident. Wilmington police said they have arrested a 32-year-old man following an investigation into drug sales in the West Center City area. Bilal Muhammad Ahmed is being held at Howard Correctional Institution on $60,200 cash bail. Police said he was arrested when they raided a house in the 800 block of West 4th Street. Officers say they recovered more than 37 pounds of marijuana and nearly $15,000 in cash. Ahmed was charged with possession of a controlled substance with the intent to deliver, possession of drug paraphernalia, and operating a business without a license. It was a long night from firefighters from 4 counties fighting a 2-alarm commercial structure fire early Monday morning in Elkton, Maryland. The alarm came in shortly after 1 a.m. at the Tiffin Mats in the Triumph Industrial Park off Blue Ball Road. The Maryland State Fire Marshal Office said that more than 100 firefighters from Newcastle, Kent, and southern Chester County, Pennsylvania, made their way to the scene. Firefighters fought the blaze for 7 hours. No injuries were reported, but the building is considered a total loss. The cause is still under investigation. And finally tonight, she's known for shooting hoops. Now Delaware's WNBA star may be known for a taste of the grape. Elena Delle Donne, forward for the Washington Mystics, has launched Delle Donne Wines in a charity collaboration with First State Roots. Proceeds from the first wine, a 2021 Delle Donne Wilmette Valley Pinot Noir, will benefit her namesake foundation, which supports Lyme disease research, and the DD Entrepreneurial Foundation, which provides startup capital to support women's businesses. The Delle Donne wine retails for $49 and is available online exclusively at the address on your screen. We say cheers to Delle Donne.
Making headlines today. Though it was close, the Appoquinimink School District suffered its first defeat at the polls in more than 2 decades. Taxpayers in Delaware's fastest growing school district rejected a 47-cent increase to the property tax rate that would have funded 3 new schools, security upgrades, and salary increases for staff, the lowest paid in Newcastle County's 5 school districts. More than 6,300 people came out to the polls. Unofficial results show 51.3% voted against operational increases and 52.2% voted against the capital projects. The request for safety improvements and a bus lot was defeated by just 6 votes. School District Superintendent Matt Burrows said in a Tuesday night statement that there was a lot of disappointment, but that the district would update the proposal and try again this spring. The district, which has grown 17% just in the past 5 years, had successful referendums in 2021 and in 2019 that focused on keeping up with its growth. And an independent evaluation of Delaware's education funding system has produced critical recommendations for policymakers. The study, arising from a recent education funding litigation settlement, aimed to provide an unbiased assessment of the state's education funding structure. Key recommendations include increasing state investment in public education, aligning resource distribution with student needs, enhancing transparency in funding allocation, providing greater flexibility for districts, regularly reassessing property values, simplifying the calculation of local share for charter schools, and implementing a weighted school funding state funding formula. Secretary of Education Mark Holodick highlighted the study's significance in informing discussions on revamping the perceived outdated education funding system. He emphasized the opportunity to build upon existing initiatives such as opportunity funding and increased early childhood spending. The current school funding here in Delaware is primarily enrollment-based, but there is growing advocacy for a shift towards funding based on student needs. The study revealed potential disparities in essential resources from students in low-income families, students with disabilities, and English learners. In other news tonight, one person was seriously injured following a car crash Tuesday morning on Limestone Road. It happened just before 7:30 a.m. next to Carousel Park. That's in Pike Creek. A car reportedly traveling northbound on Route 7 crossed the median and was hit by an SUV. The driver of the car, a 21-year-old man, was trapped in the wreckage for about 20 minutes, police say, before being freed by firefighters. The victim was treated on scene by paramedics and was taken to Christiana Hospital in serious condition. And first responders worked together Tuesday morning to rescue a man who had gone into cardiac arrest while on the roof of a commercial building in Newark. Firefighters, EMTs, paramedics, and specialized technicians were called to the structure just before 10 a.m. According to officials with the Aetna Hose Hook and Ladder Company, medics and EMTs were able to restore the man's pulse in about 15 minutes, but then they faced the task of getting him down off the roof. The Newcastle County High Angle Confined Space Rescue Team used what's called a Stokes basket to harness the patient in and lower him from the roof for transport. He was also taken to Christiana Hospital. And Wilmington and Newcastle County's unionized janitors have achieved a groundbreaking contract agreement, averting a potential strike just days before their previous deal was set to expire. The Service Employees International Union 32BJ announced the ratification of first post-pandemic agreement with building owners and contractors. The deal boasts unprecedented pay raises, safeguards employer-paid health care and benefits, and introduces Juneteenth as a paid holiday. Key highlights of the contract include the following: record-breaking wage increases, 20% over the contract duration, full-time and part-time health benefits, protected with no employee contributions, and as we mentioned, addition of Juneteenth as a paid holiday, enhanced protections for pregnancy rights, and safeguards for workers affected by building renovations or conversions. Well, this historic agreement unifies separate contracts previously held with Delaware and southeastern Pennsylvania workers, consolidating them into a single, stronger accord. The union represents around 600 janitors here in the first state and 1,400 workers in suburban Philadelphia. A little further south now, Milford's new police department will be ready for operations next week. It comes almost 3 years after Milford residents approved a referendum to finance the project. The city decided a new location was needed after evaluating Milford's public safety needs had outgrown the existing facility. Milford Chief of Police says having a new facility that can better serve the community is crucial to helping solve workforce recruitment and retention problems. Milford Mayor Arthur Campbell, who cut the ribbon at the ceremony, says the original police department, built in 1979, hosted 18 officers and served a population of about 5,400 people. The city now has 37 officers and serves 12,000 people. Public open houses will be held Wednesday and Thursday, with operations at the new building starting on Monday. And a study will look into the feasibility of adding passenger train service downstate. Federal funding will allow the state to conduct a study about adding rail service in Delaware below the canal. Delaware's congressional delegation announced a $500,000 grant to see if rail service can be added from the Northeast Corridor to downstate Delaware. Service would go through Middletown and Dover to eastern Maryland. The study will look at various issues such as, is there density to support this project? And of course, is the demand there to support the investment? In addition to rail infrastructure questions, the study will also examine the cost of running trains in the first state. Now, as for timing, officials say the study would take more than a year. The last study to look into the feasibility of adding downstate rail service was done over 10 years ago. And Delaware State University hit a slam dunk at their scholarship ball this past Saturday night. DSU's scholarship ball raised over $3 million in a single night. The event, aimed at fueling future scholarships, drew in more than 1,200 attendees and boasted a star-studded list. NBA Hall of Famer Irvin Magic Johnson graced the occasion, contributing a generous $600,000 and pledging an additional $1 million as Delaware State University continues to expand. Well, not to be outdone, Steve Ewing, an automotive executive and graduate of Delaware State College, presented a $1 million gift. That's the largest ever given by an alumnus in the university's 132-year history. Student loan lender Sally May also stepped up, matching his gift of $1 million in research endowment to support a 3-year persistence and completion pilot program. This initiative aims to identify and eliminate barriers to degree completion, ultimately working to close the college completion gap. And in Newark now, the Christina School District unveiled a new wellness center at Brookside Elementary School. This initiative is part of a broader effort to address the mental health crisis affecting students. At the ribbon-cutting event, Newcastle County Executive Matt Meyer highlighted the urgency of tackling mental health challenges, especially in places like Brookside Elementary. The center, funded by federal dollars, is part of a 2022 commitment to bring wellness centers to schools with high numbers of students from economically challenged families. And children at Anna P. Moat Elementary and Richardson Park Elementary will have a warmer winter this year, all thanks to a heartwarming collaboration. Sam's Kids and Harvey, Hanna and Associates, in partnership with Operation Warm, made it all possible. The effort culminated in a lively coat parade at both schools on Wednesday. Sam's Kids, formerly the Delaware Kids Fund, underwent a meaningful transformation in honor of Sam Hanna, who passed away last December. The coat campaign, a cause dear to Sam's heart, saw a vibrant parade at Richardson Park, with the 76ers drum line adding to the festive atmosphere. Ryan Kennedy, program director of Sam's Kids, expressed gratitude to the Delaware Bluecoats and the community for their integral role in making the campaign a success. Kennedy highlights that thanks to Sam's Kids, around 1,000 elementary school students in the Red Clay School District will be much warmer this winter. And just in time for the holidays, about 20 Colonial School District elementary school students received hair care makeovers Tuesday at the Paul Mitchell School. Many of the students are homeless or in need and may have never had salon services before. That's according to District Health and Wellness Director Dr. John Cooper. The long-standing partnership between the district and Teaching Salon was resumed this year after the pause for the pandemic. And Christmas wishes came true on Tuesday for some 200 Colonial School District students, thanks to the generous members of the Seeds of Greatness Bible Church in Newcastle. The students from Newcastle Elementary School and McCullough Middle School gathered at the church Tuesday evening to open gifts valued at about $100 for each student. In November, the students were asked by counselors to create a 3-item wish list valued at around $100. Church members purchased the items and volunteers wrapped the gifts for a dinner and gift exchange that happened Tuesday night. Gifts for students who could not attend the dinner will be delivered to the schools.
And what we're doing is we're providing a meal for them, and we're providing Christmas gifts for them, for the children. It's like 200 children here that we're providing Christmas gifts for that are maybe underprivileged and don't have all the things that we might have. So what we're trying to do is reach out into the community and be a blessing to the community. I want to do it bigger next year. I just want to do it bigger next year. I want it to be so that there's not a kid that we know in our community that doesn't have the joy and the experience of Christmas and receiving a gift.
Sounds like a wonderful event. Making headlines today, Anthony Antonio, a 29-year-old Wilmington man, pleaded guilty Wednesday in federal court to a felony charge related to his actions during the U.S. Capitol breach on January 6, 2021. Caught on video squirting water at a police officer and climbing into the Capitol, Antonio attributed his actions to what he called foxitis. Antonio said he was raised here in Wilmington, Townsend, and Clayton areas. While living in Illinois during the pandemic, he says he spent a lot of time stuck in the house watching Fox News. He believed the election was being stolen, so when President Trump called for his supporters to come to the Capitol on January 6th, he and a friend made the drive there. His sentencing is set for August 23, 2024. Antonio is one of 6 Delawareans charged in connection to the Capitol breach. Other defendants have received sentences ranging from several weeks to several years in prison. Closer to home now, state police are investigating an armed robbery at Apollo Smoke Shop. It's on Kirkwood Highway. On Tuesday evening, shortly before 8 o'clock, an unknown white male with a handgun demanded cash from an employee. After handing over the cash, the man took off on foot towards Greenbank Road. Anyone with information is asked to call 302-365-8404, or you can call Delaware Crime Stoppers at the number at the bottom of your screen. And Wilmington's Robert Cole, 35 years old, was nabbed by Newcastle County Police after a pre-dawn theft that happened at Cavalier Country Club Apartments on Thursday. Officers responded to a report of stolen tires, tracked the suspect's silver Dodge pickup, which was also stolen, and engaged in a pursuit ending on Market Street in Newport. Cole fled on foot but was swiftly captured. The Dodge and stolen tires were recovered. Charged with offenses including felony theft, Cole faces over $13,000 secured bail after arraignment. To Dover now, where the House of Representatives Appropriations Committee of Delaware released legislation today that would add Delaware to a growing list of states requiring residents to complete firearm training courses and obtain a permit before purchasing a handgun. The committee has advanced Senate Bill 2 proposing mandatory firearm training for Delawareans seeking to purchase handguns. Under the bill, residents must complete an approved training course within 5 years before acquiring a handgun, with exemptions for active and retired police and concealed carry permit holders. House Majority Leader Melissa Minor Brown emphasized the common sense in firearm safety training. Originally released back in May, the bill was reassigned to the Appropriations Committee due to an estimated cost exceeding $100,000 to the state. Despite a similar law in Maryland facing repeal, House Democrats here aim to continue efforts to pass Senate Bill 2 in the new year after the House reconvenes on January 9th. Staying in Dover, Wreaths Across America rode the first state's capital city today in front of an enthusiastic crowd waving American flags. Wreaths Across America is an American nonprofit organization established back in 2007 by wreath producer Worcester, assisted by veterans and truckers. Its primary activity is distributing veterans' wreaths for placement on graves on military cemeteries. And in other news, Newcastle County Police Community Services Unit is holding a vehicle security event scheduled for this Saturday. That's December 16th. The event will be at Martin Kia, that's located at 298 East Cleveland Avenue in Newark, from 8 a.m. to 12 p.m. During the event, technicians from Martin Kia will install anti-theft software upgrades for eligible Kia vehicles. Additionally, steering wheel locks will be provided to Kia owners ineligible for the software upgrades. For more information, you can contact Martin Kia, seen at the number on your screen. We want to let you know that the event operates on a first-come, first-served basis. And Delawareans can currently get just about anything shipped right to your front door, right? Well, except wine. It's an issue some lawmakers plan to tackle this upcoming legislative session. Delaware is one of only 3 states in the entire country that doesn't allow direct shipment of wine. Well, House Bill 262 is looking to establish a direct-to-consumer wine sales system with some conditions. Wineries would have to obtain a license to ship and pay the same sales tax on alcohol that retail stores pay. Despite there not being a legal means in place, some store owners say illegal shipments are actually already happening. Other conditions under the bill include shipments being specifically labeled and packaging must be signed by adults aged 21 and over. There would also be a limit of 3 cases of wine per year per household. The Delaware General Assembly's 2024 legislative session, as we mentioned earlier, begins next month. And beginning this week, Newcastle County 911 operators can ask callers to stream real-time video, enhancing emergency responses. The caller's consent is essential, and the system will never be mandatory, they say. Officials believe this optional video feature could save lives by providing crucial scene details. The video, which is stored securely, may aid law enforcement and emergency crews. Newcastle County handles about half of the state's emergency calls and has become one of the few in the nation with this video capability. Officials also encourage residents to register for what's called the Smart 911 program. It provides additional details for faster and more efficient emergency assistance. And the grand opening of the new Milford facility for the Food Bank of Delaware is just around the corner, and with it comes exciting opportunities for residents. Applications are now open for free training programs offered at the new location, expanding the reach of the food bank's culinary food and warehousing logistics program. Having initiated its culinary school back in 2013 and warehousing logistics program in 2018 at its Newark location, the food bank's new facility aims to bridge the gap for those in Kent and Sussex County. The 14-week program promises to connect students to lucrative careers. Warehousing and logistics stand out as one of the leading industries in Kent County. As of the January 2nd deadline approaches, prospective participants are encouraged to seize this opportunity and sign up for either program. For more details and to apply, simply visit the Food Bank of Delaware's website. And Colonial School District has revealed plans for an operating and capital referendum set to take place on February 29th. During this week's school board meeting, the board approved a phased approach to a local tax increase. The proposal involves a gradual hike of 25 cents per $100 of assessed property value in year 2025. That's going to be followed by 10 cents in fiscal year 2026, and finally 5 cents in fiscal year 2027. Well, this strategy aims to address an anticipated operating budget deficit of $8 million in the current fiscal year, providing crucial local funds for operational needs and construction projects within the district. The district's chief financial officer highlighted that the average age of Colonial school buildings is around 60 years old. With the average household assessed at a value of just over $62,000, the anticipated annual impact for an average household is going to be about $250. The increased revenue aims not only to maintain school buildings, but also to upgrade things like parking lots, roofs, ADA accessible playgrounds, sidewalks, athletic facilities, and lighting on sports fields. Notably, other districts such as Red Clay and Brandywine are also set to hold referendums in February. As we mentioned in last night's newscast, Appoquinimink narrowly failed to pass their referendum request in Tuesday's vote. And the annual Christmas in Georgetown celebration will make its return this weekend. For 11 years now, the event has featured toy giveaways, free food, live music, Santa Claus himself, and more to spread a little holiday cheer. Organizers say the original focus was on the Latino community, but it's now expanded to support the diverse community of the county. We're also told that they're expecting to serve upwards of 350 children this year alone. The Historic Georgetown Association will also offer free train rides for kids. The event will be held this Saturday, December 16th at El Mercado Market at 3 p.m. And the holiday spirit took on an extra special meaning this week as the Eastside Charter School held their Mentor Program holiday party at the Wilmington Library. Take a look.
And today we are doing our annual holiday party at the Wilmington Public Library. Today we're having our holiday party, which is where we let our kids get some gifts, they get to have a good time with their mentors, have some food.
Like, I feel that this is like good for like kids, because like some kids are like having hard stuff in their life and they might need somebody to talk to. So this is actually a good mentoring program for like kids. And I love the Christmas party because like we get presents.
What this is our mentor has been working with our students for the last 20 years from Barclays, from a number of other organizations, and this is just one way they're able to interact and exchange and have some fun. We appreciate our volunteers and our mentors that work with our students, prepare them for the next wave of the future leaders.
Now, officials tell us the program has been funded by Barclays for over 20 years now, and many of the mentors are from right here in our local community. They meet to work on activities that encourage emotional awareness and financial literacy. Students range from 2nd grade all the way up to 8th grade. We're also told that they're always looking for mentors so that we can decrease their ever-growing wait list. And in a heartwarming display of holiday generosity, a multitude of gifts were dispatched to foster children and families, forming a festive convoy of goodwill. About 275 children under the care of the Division of Family Services had their holiday wish lists disseminated in the broader community and within the Delaware Department of Justice. A DART bus was filled with an array of gifts, with hopes high to fill yet another bus. The team managed to secure popular items such as dolls, Lego sets, bicycles, and even a violin. Notably, one recurring wish tugs at the heartstrings each year. One employee says every year there are children asked for a family as what they really want as their Christmas wish. Some children ask to be with their parents. The worker says they do their very best, obviously, to make all these wishes come true. And we're going to end it there before you've seen a grown man shed a tear. That's going to do it for tonight's edition of DETV News. Be sure to follow us across your favorite social media platforms. And while you're online, check out what's happening around the state of Delaware. Head to our website. That's detvch.com. With tonight's news, I'm Matt Ford. We'll see you again next week.